Hi everyone, welcome to XOTIC PC's video review of the MSI GT60 Dominator-1065. For specs, we're looking at a 15.6 inch anti-glare matte type screen. For the CPU, it's an Intel i7 4710MQ, 2.5 to 3.5 gigahertz, and that is an upgradable CPU. For the video card, it's the NVIDIA GTX 970M. It's a 3 gig version. For the RAM, stock is 8 gigs, 1600 megahertz. That is upgradable to 32 gigs. We have two 2.5 inch bays. There is a 1 terabyte, 7200 RPM hard drive pre-installed. Leaves a second bay open so you can add like a SSD in there if you want some faster read-write speeds. For the optical drive, it comes installed with the DVD CD read writer. That is also upgradable, so if you want Blu-ray capabilities, reading, writing, you can definitely do that. For the wireless card, it is the Intel AC 7260. Windows 8.1 is pre-installed. For our warranty, or MSI's warranty, it is a 2-year US-Canada warranty. You also get 1 year accidental damage protection. You do have to register that within 30 days of the computer shipping, so make sure to do that. Unfortunately, the global warranty does not get accidental damage protection, but you do get 1 year parts and labor. For our dimensions, we're looking at 15.5 inches across, 10.51 deep, and 2.16 thick. Its weight, 7.70 pounds, and that is including the battery. Let's take a look at the back of it, just to take a look at the exterior finish. You are going to see a brushed metal on the back of it here. Hopefully you can pick that up with the light as we move that back and forth. There's also the MSI logo back there too, and that does light up. I'll go ahead and turn off this light so you can check that out. Let's take a look at the screen viewing angles here. Again, this is a 1920 by 1080 15.6 inch matte type anti-glare screen. I'm going to spin it off to the left, see what happens if we lose any color on there. So we're getting really close to going straight even with it. You can see there's really not much loss there. It's going off to the left hand side. We'll go ahead and spin it off to the right. Till we get about dead even with it there. And you can see also very good viewing angles on that as well. So I'm all seeing the same thing in person as the camera is picking up. I'll go ahead and pull it forward here so we can see if there's any type of washout or any type of loss there. It looks like it in camera a little bit, but in person I'm not really seeing that. I noticed on the bottom of the camera it looked like it dulled out a little bit, but again, not in person. Let's see if we can see that. Just keeping an eye on that in person. And no, I'm not really seeing that in person. We'll go ahead and lean the screen back as far as it'll go, see if we get any type of loss there. And that screen actually lays all the way flat. So 180 degrees there. Go ahead and move that around. Let me get that pulled up a little bit. About a 45-degree angle here. All right, so that's going to get us a good idea of the viewing angles of the screen. So pretty impressive. Worked well. I really didn't see anything I would complain about on there. We're going to take a look at the keyboard. As usual with the G series models by MSI, they are using the Steel series keyboard. As you can see, it is full size with the number pad off to the side over here. It is backlit. As you can see, there's 3 different zones. For the keyboard itself, pretty solid on there. You know, there's not a lot of flex. MSI's been really good about that. Really not known for having flex on there, and that's the MSI and the combination of the Steel series keyboard on there. So nice and solid. We have our touchpad down here. So it is a separate touchpad. It's actually sunken down a little bit. Instead of being flat or up, you have the touchpad area here. And then you have the left click and right click sections there. It is just one solid bar. There's nothing that separates the left click and right click. And as you can tell, it's a chrome on there as well. Let's go in on the keyboard a little bit more here so you can really see that flex. I'll give it a good push on it. That's pushing right down in the middle, and that's with intention to try to make it have some movement on there. Regular typing, as you watch the surroundings of that, you're not seeing any flex. Now, as you can see, it is colored, and you can do that with MSI's built-in SteelSeries engine. So you start the Dragon Gaming Center. Let me adjust this here. Get our Dragon Gaming Center. Then we want to go to our utilities, and then SteelSeries engine. And that's going to pull it up for us here. As you can see, the keyboard is just laid out right here. Different zones. You can change the colors right here if you want to do that. There's left, center, and right zones. You can click on that, pick a color that you want. We'll just randomize it a little bit here. Move the slider up. Okay. I'll zoom back out so you can see the keyboard as well. Once I hit save, and we'll close out of here, and you can see the color of the keyboard has changed on for us right there. We can take a look at the ports of the computer starting on the back left hand side. Very first there is an exhaust vent. So you get that on the left hand side, followed by two USB 3.0 ports. And as usual, you can tell those are the 3.0 with the blue tab on there. We have our memory card reader for things like your secure digital card. Another USB 3.0 port. And we're going to go off to the front left, and you can see there's kind of a mesh there, if you will. That's so the sound can come through. So one of the speakers is there. The other is on the right-hand side right there. We have your 4 audio ports. So it's headphone, microphone, line in, line out, then a USB 2.0 port. And you can tell that's 2.0 because it's the black tab instead of a blue one. Got the optical drive right here. Again, that is upgradable. Going on the left-hand side, get your Kensington lock on the very left. In the middle, that is where your AC adapter goes, followed by your Ethernet port, 2 mini display ports, and an HDMI. And those are all output. There's no input on there. And then you got the other exhaust port. So there's one on the back left and the side left. Speaking of the side left, we're back to that, and that's where we started. So that covers the ports for us. And let's take a look at the status indicator lights. These are right underneath of the touchpad. Starting on the left-hand side, we have our Bluetooth indicator, then our Wi-Fi. One right in the middle that looks like a battery that lets you know if your AC adapter is plugged in. It is not right now, so that's why it's not lit up. Then we have our sleep indicator and our hard drive activity indicator on the right, blinking. As you can see, there's some type of stuff reading and writing to the hard drive, and each time it does that, you'll see it give a little blink. All right, let's take a look at the boot time with the stock hard drive in there. The computer is completely off, not in a sleep or a hibernate or anything like that. I have my phone set up here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to hit the start button and the power button at the same time, and I'll do my best to stop that once we get to the desktop. So ready? We'll go 3, 2, 1, start. A little slow on there, but showing 19.9 seconds. It was probably more around 19 to 19 and a half seconds. Respectable boot times, especially for a hard disk drive. but you can cut that down in half if you put in a solid state drive. We're also going to take a look at the hard drive read-write speeds here. This is with Crystal Disk Mark. As you can see, this is right where we expect a regular hard disk drive, 7200 RPM to score at. Sequential speeds read at about 140 megabytes per second, and then the write 125.7 megabytes per second. For most daily performance, though, you're looking at the smaller numbers like the 4K and the 4K QD32. Throw in something like a Samsung 840 EVO, and your sequential speeds can get up to 500, 550 megabytes per second read time. And then the 4K QD32 can get 300, 400 megabytes per second compared to a 0.93, 0.85 speed on there. A lot faster on the regular 4K all the way throughout. But as many of you probably already know, SSDs really increase that snappiness of it. So this does have the second open hard drive bay. Just waiting for a second hard drive to be put in there. 3D Mark Firestrike. Okay, we're going to start looking at some benchmarks. We're going to start with 3D Mark Firestrike. Got it loading up in the background. As you can see, we have our decimal meter set off to the side, so you can see if the fans create any additional noise, what type of noise. It'll be while under load. I'll also put this microphone down over there too, so you can hear the fans ramp up. Got hardware monitor and MSI Afterburner running in the background, so we can look at the temperatures after we're done. And as usual, we will be overlaying our FLIR images over the benchmark video, so you can see where the heat is generated and what type of heat that we're looking at. And of course, once it's all done, we'll go over the results. Okay, taking a look at 3D Mark Firestrike results. As you can see, the score, 6,365. A graphics score, 7,371. Physics score, 7,984. And a combined score, 2,735. Let's pull up hardware monitors so we can see where our CPU temps were. And there we go. We're seeing max temperatures, 81, 83, and 84. Hardware monitor was not picking up the GPU here, so I had MSI Afterburner running in the background so we can take a look at that. And 73 Celsius max for the GPU temperature, so very low. That's just one of the characteristics of Maxwell on there. They definitely run a lot lower in temperatures than the Kepler architecture did. So good performance, good temperatures. Really not too much noise out of there, kind of, what we've heard from the previous GT60 models. So let's take a look at a couple other benchmarks as well. Results. All right, our second benchmark, 3D Mark Skydivers, all finished up. Let's go over the scores here. We're looking at 16,596. A graphics score, 23,076. Physics score, 7,289, and a combined score, 13,940. Let's pull up hardware monitor, take a look at the CPU temps. A little bit higher than we did see with Firestrike. So we're looking at upper 80s to lower 90s. So 90, 89, 87, and 90. Let's take a look at the GPU, see if it was consistent with what we saw. Still a very good temperature, a little bit higher at 77 Celsius. Obviously, a little bit higher than 3D Mark Firestrike, which hit 73, but still 77, still a very good number to have on there. So we'll run one more, which will be 3D Mark 11, and go over the results on that one. All right, the last benchmark that we're taking a look at is all finished up. This is 3D Mark 11. See the score here, P, 8,629. Graphics score, 9,711. A physics score, 6,565. And a combined score, 6,330. So let's take a look at hardware monitor. The temperatures here, a little bit better. Upper 70s, lower 80s, so 79 to 81. And let's take a look at Afterburner. Take a look at the GPU temps. So 72. Not sure if you can see that, but good low temperature there, 72 Celsius. And a little bit, that's probably the lowest out of all three. Very close to 3D Mark Firestrike, which was 73. So all in all, good results, good temperatures, good performance. That's really all that matters with the gaming notebook. All right, we're going to take a look at the BIOS to do an overview of what's available to us. The computer is completely off. I'm going to hit the power button and then continually press delete. So here's power, and just spam delete. And then we're into the BIOS here. So on the main page, we're just seeing basic information, the model number, the system date and time, your SATA information, just what's installed on each SATA drive, or excuse me, SATA port. So we have our hard drive and our optical bay, our optical drive, system information, which shows your BIOS version, EC version, CPU, RAM, everything like that. The advanced, you can set your PCI latency timer. Wrong button there. There we go. SATA mode selection, AHCI. If you added two identical hard drives in there, you could change it to RAID. The iCharger works on S3, S4, S5. You can enable or disable. The ERP Lot 3 support, enable or disable. Intel SpeedStep, enable or disable. Wake up on LAN, S5 support, enable or disable. The UEFI BIOS update and the USB configuration. Let's go over to the boot menu. This will let you pick if the number key is, number pad is number locked, on or off. Full screen logo display, fast boot, boot mode select, and then the boot order. So you can change that. UEFI, hard disk drive BBS priorities, and UEFI network drive BBS priorities. Next we have our security, so you can set an admin password, or user password, secure boot menu, and then the save and exit. So we'll go ahead and save and exit out of here. We're not really going to mess around with the BIOS. And just go ahead and confirm that. And actually, if you want to escape and then hit escape, that'll exit without saving. So we'll do that option. Select that, and the computer just reboots itself. Let's pop open the bottom of the computer and take a look at the internals. Right here is where the battery goes. So I've gone ahead and removed that. Very simple to do. You're going to have a few screws around the perimeter of the panel. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws it looks like. Just make sure you get them all undone. Once you've done that, you just pry open the bottom and you can lift it up and away. No cables or anything like that you need to worry about. We'll start off on the top left-hand side. This is the 1 terabyte hard drive that comes pre-installed in there. Moving off to the right, this is where the video card is. So it's underneath here. You can see the copper heat transfer pipes going off to the fins over here. This is the exhaust fan, so on the back and on the left. So it's just a 1 fan cooling design system. Underneath of it is going to be where the CPU is. So you can see it's right underneath here. We have more copper heat transfer pipes connected to go over to the fins for the heat dissipation. Right in the middle, there are 2 open RAM slots. This model does support a total of 4, and the other 2 are on the opposite side. So you do, to get to those, you do have to remove the keyboard. Right here, this is the second hard drive bay that is currently empty, but it is something you can add another hard drive or a solid state drive into if you'd like to. There's also a wireless card. You can't see it here. It is on the other side of the motherboard along with the 2 other RAM slots. So that will cover the bottom of the computer, kind of get you a good layout of where everything's at. That's going to about finish up our look at the MSI GT60 Dominator 1065. Want to thank you for taking your time to check it out. Hopefully we got some questions answered for you. If you do have any more, feel free to contact us. It's 1-877-289-9684. You can email sales@exoticpc.com or reach us on our live chat. You'll find the link for that on our website. We are available from 9 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, and that is Central Time. If you have any questions, you can also leave them down in the comments. Give it a like if you like it, and of course, visit our website. It's exoticpc.com. That's www.xoticpc.com. Thanks again. Bye-bye.